Welcome back to the channel where Cowboys football reigns supreme and no rumor goes unnoticed. As the offseason continues to heat up, we're diving into some of the most intriguing, head-turning, and downright shocking possibilities floating around Cowboys Nation right now. Buckle up, because we've got a triple-decker rumor meal coming your way. First, could the Cowboys be seriously eyeing a move for Asante Samuel Jr.? Second, there's a loud buzz getting louder that suggests Micah Parsons, that Micah Parsons might be on the trade radar for the New England Patriots. And finally, could the Cowboys be looking to make a bold defensive statement by swinging a deal for Pro Bowl defensive lineman DeForest Buckner? Each of these moves would shake the NFL landscape in different ways, and we're going to break them down from top to bottom with everything we've heard, analyzed, and projected. So whether you're a diehard who watches every snap or just someone keeping up with the twists and turns of the NFL offseason, you won't want to miss this breakdown. Let's start with Asante Samuel Jr., a name that's been quietly but consistently floated as a potential fit for the Dallas Cowboys. The 24-year-old cornerback has shown flashes of brilliance since entering the league, and with the Cowboys constantly battling injuries and inconsistencies in their secondary, it makes sense that a talent like Samuel Jr. would be on their radar. Right now, the cornerback depth behind Trayvon Diggs and Darren Bland isn't as strong as Dallas would like. And with Diggs coming off a major ACL injury, adding another starting caliber corner with ball-hawking ability could be a game-changer. Samuel Jr. brings exactly that. He's aggressive, instinctual, and has shown the ability to go toe-to-toe with top wide receivers. The idea that he could be available in a trade or even as a post-June 1 SD cut candidate adds fuel to the fire. The Chargers are in a bit of a roster reshuffling phase with the new coaching regime and some cap issues, and if they don't see Samuel Jr. as part of their long-term plan, the Cowboys could be the perfect landing spot. The most interesting part of this potential move is how it fits into Dan Quinn's legacy, and now Mike Zimmer's vision. Remember, Quinn loved versatile, high IQ corners who could disrupt timing routes and force turnovers. Samuel fits that profile. But Zimmer also values disciplined zone coverage and smart positioning. Could Samuel evolve into that kind of player under a new DC? The Cowboys might believe so, especially given his age and ceiling. It wouldn't take a blockbuster to acquire him either. A mid-round pick might be enough, or a package involving a rotational defensive player. It's the kind of low-risk, high-reward move Dallas has to consider if it wants to seriously contend in 2025. Pairing Samuel with Diggs and Bland would give Dallas one of the most exciting young corner trios in the league, and if they stay healthy, that group could be a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks. Now let's shift gears into something that might just rock the entire foundation of the Cowboys' defense: Micah Parsons possibly being on the move. This rumor came out of left field, but it's gaining traction. Several insiders, including some from Boston media circles, have begun discussing a framework where the New England Patriots, now under Jerod Mayo, could be a surprise suitor for Parsons. The Patriots, entering a new era without Bill Belichick and with loads of cap space and draft capital, are apparently ready to make a huge move to usher in their franchise's next chapter. Parsons, a generational talent, would absolutely be that kind of acquisition. The idea of trading him seems borderline unthinkable for Cowboys fans, but let's explore the why behind the buzz. First, Parsons is entering the extension window, and he's expected to command massive money, possibly the richest deal for a defensive player in NFL history. The Cowboys, meanwhile, are already dealing with the cap burdens of Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb's pending extension, and the contracts of other veterans like Zach Martin. If they can't figure out a long-term financial path with Micah, they might be forced to consider moving him while his value is still at its peak. That's a painful thought, but it's business. And if the Patriots came calling with a package involving multiple first-round picks and a young defensive asset or two, would the Cowboys at least pick up the phone? That's what's sparking the speculation. Another reason this rumor isn't dying is Micah's occasional public frustrations with the franchise. He's vocal, passionate, and emotional, all great traits, but they sometimes rub management the wrong way. His media appearances and cryptic social posts have stirred the pot more than once. Could those small things add up in the minds of Cowboys brass? It's possible. And from New England's perspective, they've been missing a true defensive superstar since the prime years of Donnie Hightower and Stephon Gilmore. Adding Parsons would instantly give Mayo a leader on defense and a face of the franchise. However, let's be clear, this would be a seismic move. Trading away a player like Parsons, still just 25 and entering his prime, would require overwhelming compensation. Fans would riot if he was moved for anything less than historic value. But sometimes in the NFL, the unthinkable becomes reality, and where there's smoke, there's often at least a flicker of fire. For now, the smart money says Parsons stays put, but this storyline is worth tracking, especially as we approach the preseason and no contract extension is in place. And finally, let's talk about a potential trade that could massively bolster the Cowboys' interior defensive line: the idea of Dallas targeting DeForest Buckner. This is one of those moves that would make total sense from a football perspective but would require some creative maneuvering to pull off financially. Buckner is still an elite force in the trenches. He consistently pressures quarterbacks, eats double teams, and provides a level of consistency and leadership that the Cowboys have often lacked at defensive tackle. He's the kind of player who makes everyone around him better, from edge rushers to linebackers, and in Mike Zimmer's defense, he could play a crucial role similar to what Linval Joseph did in Minnesota. So why might Buckner be available? Well, the Colts are stuck in a strange place between rebuilding and trying to stay competitive with Anthony Richardson. They've got other young talent they need to pay, and Buckner is scheduled to carry a heavy cap hit. He's also approaching 30, and if the Colts don't think they'll contend this year, flipping him for assets might make sense. The Cowboys, on the other hand, are in win-now mode, and pairing Buckner with a guy like Osa Odigizua would suddenly turn the interior D-line into a true strength. That's something this team hasn't had in years. The big question here is compensation. Would a second-round pick get it done? Would Dallas need to include a player like Neville Gallimore or Chauncey Golston to sweeten the deal? Those are fair questions. Another wrinkle is the cap hit. Dallas would likely need Buckner to restructure his deal or come with some contract offsets to make the numbers work. But given what's at stake this season, possibly the last run with this current core, it might be worth it. Buckner's leadership and game-wrecking ability could be the missing piece for a team that's come up short in the postseason time and time again. So let's recap this whirlwind of Cowboys rumors. Asante Samuel Jr. offers youth, potential, and scheme versatility in the secondary, plus he's the kind of player who could blossom under Zimmer's guidance. The Micah Parsons to Patriots chatter is equal parts shocking and logical when you peel back the layers. While it still feels unlikely, the contract situation adds real-world urgency that makes it worth watching closely. And DeForest Buckner? That's the kind of move that turns a good defense into a dominant one, and with the NFC wide open behind the 49ers and Eagles, now is the time to be bold. What all these rumors have in common is urgency. The Cowboys are at a crossroads, both financially and competitively. With Dak Prescott's contract nearing its conclusion, CeeDee Lamb about to break the bank, and Tyron Smith already gone, this core group is running out of time. Jerry Jones has made it clear that he's desperate for a Super Bowl, and that means big swings are not just possible, they're necessary. Whether it's trading for Buckner to fortify the defense, adding Asante Samuel Jr. to safeguard the secondary, or even contemplating the unthinkable with Micah Parsons, this front office knows it can't play it safe anymore. Fans are understandably emotional about all of this. Parsons is a fan favorite. Samuel Jr. has a famous name and exciting potential. Buckner is the kind of blue-collar warrior Cowboys fans respect. But the NFL is a business of windows, and the window is right now. Every move must be measured against the question, does it get us closer to a championship? If the answer is yes, the Cowboys have to be brave enough to do it, no matter how uncomfortable or unexpected it may be. And let's not forget, the Cowboys aren't operating in a vacuum. The Eagles, 49ers, Lions, and Packers are all retooling or improving. The NFC is no longer the weaker conference it once was. If Dallas sits on its hands while rivals make bold plays, they could find themselves falling further behind. That's why these rumors carry so much weight. They represent potential tipping points. Every move or lack of one will echo into the season and possibly the next decade. Whether any of these rumors come true remains to be seen. But one thing's for sure, the Cowboys are going to be at the center of the NFL news cycle all summer long. And we'll be right here to break it all down for you, every rumor, every quote, every trade alert, every game-changing decision. So if you're riding with us and want to stay ahead of the curve, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications so you never miss a single update. We're just getting started, Cowboys Nation. Let's see what wild ride this offseason has in store.